Hello, my very dear Aries. The interesting thing that I got for you today was a scenario from my childhood. And it was me being sick with a fever and having a sore throat and tonsillitis and my mother coming in to give me medicine. Now, what's relevant about that? Number one, my mother was also a sick woman recovering from severe cancer treatment. And in many ways, I think this was my way of having her attention. But even more than that, my recollection of ever being sick as a child in bed with a fever was a sense of relief that all of a sudden I didn't have to worry about anybody else. Well, why would a 5-year-old, you say? Well, because it was a stressful time. And as a child, it's made more sense, I think, on some level to believe that I could actually help than to feel like the whole thing was going to hell in a handbasket. So, they say that is something that children will do. This is what psychologists say, is that they will take on a sense of responsibility because that allows them to have that sense that there is potentially something that they can do. It gives them a sense of control. So what then it flipped to a phrase, which is, you don't have to be sick to take care of yourself first. That's very interesting, because then what I got to see was, in my life as an adult, I overworked and I had an over sense of responsibility a lot of the time, certainly until I started doing a lot of work with metaphysics and energy medicine and things of that nature, where I started to understand my mechanisms more, that it was almost impossible for me to just take time off and relax. It was almost as though I needed to be sick, and I would get constant throat infections like I did when I was a kid. Funny how they stopped as soon as I started learning to take care of myself by saying, I don't have to be responsible for that. I can let people take care of themselves. For me, it's been progressive actions and intentions towards taking care of myself and discoveries around that. And I'm still discovering that at this age, which I'm not telling you. So the thing is, Aries, what Spirit really wants you to know is that they would like you to look out for patterns in childhood. And this actually really did come up in the cards. Can't and won't. Can't is the language of a child. It suggests inability and powerlessness. Won't is the language of an adult. It suggests choice and therefore power. It's the ability to choose, which gives us the power to deliberately create our lives. Now, Aries, we know, thank you, we know that you're hard workers. We know that. We know you can have great ideas and work and work and work and work and have the energy to do that. But what you're being asked really to look at is, what structure are you in now in your life where it is constraining you? Where has the structure become a cage? And if you look a cage, a box, a prison, something that is causing you to feel constrained and unable to, what is it you want to say? Live a bigger life. Live a life with a different intention. Live a life with a different kind of fulfillment. Because it feels as though you may have come to the edge of where you're feeling good within the context of what your life is now, where you're yearning for more. By the way, this is theoretically for the week of August 18th, but this is going to be yours when it resonates with you, and it won't be for everybody. So, going back to this, what you're being asked to do is look at where you can be playful. Look at where, for those of you I'm reading for, what you're being asked to look at is, where have you given up playful in order to work? Where have you given up playful within the structure you're living now out of a sense of being responsible for other people, being overburdened, having a work ethic imposed on you? And how can you develop more play and light in your life? I want to say light, I mean lightness, okay? Lightheartedness. Because it feels to me as though there are some of you who are really ready to do that, to really step out of the hard work. And for some of you, it hasn't even been, it's noble to work hard. It's that in order to get what I want, I need to work this way. In order to live the life that I'm currently in, work is a part of this model. But now I feel like you're ready to change your model. And it might be because you've come to a different sense of what's valuable to you, in terms of the work that you want to do, or it may just simply be that you want more play in your life and you're ready to do it. And this is the thing. You don't have to have an excuse to do it. You don't have to be sick to not work so hard. You don't have to be sick or distressed or hyper anxious in order not to take care of other people. You have the right, Aries, to simply say, and now this is what I would like to say yes to. This is what I want to say yes to. And you're being really encouraged. Say yes, thank you, to everything that is harmless or beneficial that anyone offers you, even if you don't need or want it. You can pass it along to someone else or graciously take a rain check. Is it a compliment? Say yes, thank you, and soak it in. But it's more than just that card. It's the idea of saying yes to a joyful life, a life of, I just heard, a life of leisure. And maybe for some of you, it will be a life of leisure. Aries, you guys have worked hard. So for some of you, this is going to be coming out of work. And for some of you, this is going to be restructuring your work life. And for some of you, it's going to be coming out of situations where you've been emotionally responsible for supporting a lot of people. Now, also, Aries, for those of you who have been working on that mode, you got to understand also that that supported you in a way too. It was part of a structure that supported you and a way you identified yourself. And now you're ready to identify yourself differently. So, play. This is the other thing too, eh? Sometimes play can just be silly and look ridiculous. And sometimes there may have been a little bit of pride involved for you that didn't allow you to be silly, not just to be silly, but to take chances and take a chance on looking as though you weren't being serious enough, being noble enough, being strong enough. And, again, some of this goes back to the childhood where you did perhaps carry on more responsibility than you were supposed to because of parental situations, parents being sick, parents being absent, either physically or emotionally. There are all sorts of different ways, right? So if you're finding yourself still stuck in that structure, look at why, and if you find yourself stuck in the structure, as opposed to supported by the structure, and you find that you're not quite sure how to get out or if you're ready to get out, but you sort of want to be ready, now's the time to start looking at where some of that is, where some of that stuff from your childhood comes from. And the forgiveness card lands right over that card, okay? So looking at some of that, being able to now, okay, this is what I'm getting here. Sometimes when there is a stickiness around a structure and around a behavior that keeps you in that structure, it's because you haven't fully processed the emotion that's related to whatever the previous emotional was that created that need for you, that made that a reasonable choice for you at the time. So there may be some important getting in touch with emotions in order to be able to forgive that and not hold that as a part of your identification, okay? That's going to be real for some of you. I mean, it's real for all of us at some point around some things. if you want to expand in your awareness and your consciousness. But I'm seeing that for some of you, if you are stuck, that is what you're being asked to question and look at. Okay? And getting in touch with emotions. You've got the Take God With You card, which for me is always just that reminder that whatever change you want to make in your life, whatever improvement, it's always wonderful to link back into that energy of the sacred, to that energy of expanded consciousness, God, angels, guides, unified field of all possibility, metaphysics, however you want to see that, but that energy which is beyond this table and chair reality. Because that energy, believe me, it's not all about, doing those great humanitarian acts. That's also about joy and self-love and self-care and fulfillment. Because whether or not you believe it, energetically, it is considered to be a fact that whatever energy we are holding in our consciousness also feeds the group consciousness. So it's always good to be happy. Okay? Real, sincere, in touch with your emotions, and happy. Okay? Take care, Aries.